各位同学好，这里是哈铁馆，今天又是影棚 talk show。今天的嘉宾呢是一位外国友人。Could you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Kalen. I'm from Australia. I've been living in China for about a year now, but I've lived here before in 2013 and I first came here 2011.
13 years ago.
Yeah, long time.
We met in fact in Little Red Book. I noticed you because of your vlog.
When I first started making the content, it was about stuff that I was doing, and then later on it became more about, okay, I'll start talking about my thoughts and philosophy. So
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
I think it's fun, yeah.
Let's start some questions from your basic information.
Sure.
How old are you?
38.
Compared to other foreigners, you look younger.
I know. I think if you have an easy life, you have not such a hard job, and you take care of yourself, I think you can age quite slowly.
Yeah.
You look pretty good for your age too. So.
Thank you. What do you do for a living here?
Currently, nothing. Currently, I just explore. I'm looking for opportunities.
Okay.
Making content. Just enjoying myself and seeing what kind of opportunities I can find in the future. What kind of life I can build in China.
Okay, so you are currently using the money you saved before.
Yeah, I previously had an online store, an online business selling chemist products like baby formula and things like that from Australia to China.
It was very famous before.
Yeah. It's not so common now. It's a little less.
It's common, yeah, but it's just less expensive.
Well, what's really interesting for me, like I'm going to make a video about this, is the quality of milk, the quality of dairy in China is very good. It's very, very good. I was surprised by that. Like I want to make a blind taste test video.
Yes.
Where I get lots of different Chinese milk.
Yes.
And I wear like a blindfold and I try each milk.
But you could only decide the flavor, not the quality.
Well, I mean, as an Australian, like our dairy is probably the best in the world. So like I grew up with really good dairy, really good milk, really good cheese. So like I'm quite good at judging.
Okay, so what do you do currently?
Exploring, making content. I just finished a big road trip. I just did an 87-day road trip around China. So 11,000 kilometers.
How many provinces have you been to during that trip?
I'm not sure, but it was 12 cities in total. Wenzhou, Fuzhou, Xiamen, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Zhuhai, Haikou, Sanya, Nanning, Guilin, Changsha, Wuhan, Hefei, and then back here.
So good memory. Yeah, you are like the first foreigner who could say that many cities in China.
Well, I used to say Hefei.
Yeah, it's like the same spell of he. Right? Speaking of this, you learned any Chinese yet?
Not really. Like I think my understanding of Mandarin is not too bad. Like when I listen, I can sort of pick things up. Like, in terms of speaking, not very much. The tone is so difficult to get it perfect. You can be lazy in English, people will still understand you, but in Mandarin, if you're lazy, people will just look at you and they don't know what you're saying.
Yes.
Chinese people learn English from a young age here. It's like part of the government program to teach them, which I think is a very smart thing. It's very powerful. The Chinese system does a good job of future planning, thinking about like what the country will need and where things were going with education, whereas the West doesn't do that. Like almost nobody in Australia or the United States or the UK learns Mandarin. It's crazy.
We have like 9 years free education system. I don't know if the official name is like that. Do we have that?
No, and that's one of the biggest problems. Like to get serious education in Western countries is very expensive. Yeah, well, the Chinese system I think is very good at just providing the service without like making excess money. Whereas in the West, it's all about it's a business. The education is a business.
Okay.
Most people go out of uni with large amounts of debt. 60-70% of people that I know went to university and the rest went into trades. Like electrician, builder, carpenter, things like that. Because in Australia and UK and the US, you can make a lot of money from being an electrician or a builder.
I think the problem here is that there are too many people here. You don't do this, others will do.
Yeah, competition.
Yeah, competition is severe.
But I think it's part of what makes China great too. Like the Western system's a little bit lazy. I was going to be an electrical engineer, and when I did that work at 3 p.m, just everyone would stop working.
Is it the official time to get off work or what? But you could earn enough money from this kind of, schedule. I think it's okay.
Well, yeah, but the problem is it's not very efficient though. Collectively as a society, I think China is a lot more efficient.
Yeah, but we have to, I think.
Well, there's just more competition.
Yeah. Okay, you came here like 13 years ago.
To December, I came here on Christmas Day, 2011.
You came here for the first time for a business trip or what?
No, originally, I came here for tourism. I was talking to a girl that I met on Smart Shanghai. It was like a website for uni students.
Okay.
I went on there to try and make friends. I met a girl on there. We started talking naturally. I was like, all right, I'll go to Shanghai.
So you came here for a girl?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't entirely for a girl. Like it was more like tourism because obviously we had started a relationship, but I hadn't met her yet. So
were you afraid before coming here?
people told me that, oh, China, you shouldn't go, maybe China's not safe and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it really surprised me. I think in many ways it changed my life. You know, just coming here and realizing that what I was told was not real, the system had misled me, you know, like the news and the politics and all that kind of stuff. So, and then, yeah, it was an intellectual awakening for me. I think after that, I started questioning a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I started wondering about things, and I just kept coming back to China. Just every time I came here, I just felt like, you know, you can feel it. It's like the future here.
Even a lot of Chinese, we don't think
it's the future
system. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like I actually think a lot of Chinese people don't realize how cool China is. Like, I think after living in China, it's hard to live in other places.
But how many countries have you ever been to?
I think 7 or 8.
So you think China is the best?
I think China's the most dynamic place. I think it's just where all the energy and all the action is now. It's where all of the kind of future direction is now. It's so entertaining. Every day is so interesting here.
Wow.
You know, compared to I go back to Australia every 6 months to renew my visa. I feel like I've gone in a time machine. It feels like I went 30 years back in the past, man. Now it's like I'm staying here forever. I'm living here. So like when I got here, I got a China mobile number. I got a Alipay International. Like I do have a driver's license and all that kind of stuff. So what's annoying is I can't use Weixin Pay.
So how do you pay?
Alipay. But it's a problem because I also can't join large group chats.
Do you feel frustrated when you couldn't attend this large group chat or something like you?
A little bit.
Is it possible for you guys to get the access to those?
Well, there's only 3 ways you can live here. It's a partnership visa if you get married.
Okay.
Or a study visa or work visa. And the study and the work visa, they're actually very strict with it. Like the work visa, you need to have quite a large company to be able to do it. You have to file tax records here. You can't just like have your own little business. And same with study visa. The study visa, I can't just like sign up to a uni and then not go. Like they check it all. It's all very strict. But other than that, other than the payment things, yeah, I don't really have any real issues with living in China. Like even not speaking Mandarin. People are surprised. People are like, how are you living in China and driving around and everything and you don't speak Mandarin? People are very willing to try to help you. And in Australia, like if I talk to people, everyone's a little bit just like they don't really care so much. Here I have to like look at people and be like, excuse me, and it's more human.
When you first come to China, what impressed you the most?
I think it's just the development and the social energy. You know, every single day that I go out, I don't know what's going to happen. Like even this morning, right before I came here, I went to a warehouse full of supercars. They have like 100 cars there. And I just met that guy because I was walking along next to a car wash. And he was washing one of the BMWs there and we started talking. We added each other on WeChat and then now we're friends and I just go visit. Like that kind of stuff is very rare in Australia and in the US. And
so do you think this happened maybe because you're a foreigner? They are curious about it?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, and actually like one of the biggest myths that people have is that, you know, Chinese people like worship foreigners or something like that. It's not true at all.
Not true.
Not true at all. It's just, I still have to earn your respect. You know, like Chinese people are very social. You're very intelligent. It's not like people just respect you because you're a foreigner. It's that they're curious, man. They're just curious, that's it.
Yes, curious is the main reason.
Yeah.
There are many foreigners here. Some foreigners, I don't like them.
It's interesting because like as a foreigner, naturally people are going to look at you a lot more. If there is a few bad foreigners here, I think people are going to see it a lot more.
Okay, now back to your basic information. What did you learn in college?
I didn't go to university.
But you said you talk a lot about philosophy and something like that. You learned that by yourself.
Yeah, you know, I think there's a big difference between like intelligence from like books and from learning stuff compared to like living an interesting story or living like a good life. And I think it's one of the problems with modern education as well. You know, people need to go out and experience the world. And like, for example, coming to China, you know, it really expanded my mind a lot. So
yeah, in my opinion, I think you study in college and high school, middle school, you learn a way to learn.
But you don't actually learn like about life as much or knowledge.
Yes. My major was engineering. Now I'm doing this.
Totally different. You need to kind of explore outside of the box if you really want to learn the truth about.
So you've been to Japan also?
No, I haven't. No. I was going to go there, but it's quite expensive compared to China. I think Shanghai is a very affordable place to live compared to other mega cities in the world.
But Shanghai is almost the most expensive city in China.
Hong Kong's pretty crazy.
Hong Kong, okay.
Yeah. I went there for 3 days. I was like, wow, it's really expensive then.
You've been to more cities than me. I mean, China is too big.
Going to all these different places and they're so different, they feel so different.
After I graduated from high school, the college I chose a university in northeast of China to experience the life there.
Different life, yeah.
Yes. Currently, you are working on your, how to say, media? What media?
Just Little Red Book, just Xiaohongshu. But I'm going to do YouTube and Bilibili as well, like more longer form content.
According to my experience, I checked your blogs. I think it's more suitable for
more long form content, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. first, because this is the first social media that I've had, I think it's hard when you start doing it to figure out like what you like and what you're good at. For me, it's more like I'm already quite successful, so I'm just trying to make interesting content that gets opportunities like this. It's fun for me. I don't need to look at it so much like I'm trying to make money or, you know, which there's not that pressure, which I think a lot of accounts have. They have
That's
pressure
good.
to...
You just make what you like.
Yeah, because like, you know, I'm not one of those people that's going to be like and subscribe and, you know, like it's a...
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, you know, live an interesting life and make content, and that's what I thought about when I was in Australia before coming here.
You really have a lot, deposit? Should I say that?
I'll run out of money eventually.
And do you have a plan to start a family in China?
I would like to, yeah. The family structure, the family values and everything here is a lot better.
What's the difference? Like
Western values in Australia and US, etc. I think people are a little bit shallow with love, whereas I think in China, like, you know, people still take love very seriously. It's still focused around family.
Western movies, American movies,
they
value the family a lot.
Well, they do in the movies, but in real life, it's not really.
No.
For example, a lot of my Chinese male friends think that it's easy to date girls here. It's not true. It's a myth. Like, it's very easy for me to meet Chinese girls, like for me to go walk up to them and talk to them, say hello. But as soon as you start getting into, do you want to date? Would you like to go out, etc. There's a burden associated with being a foreigner. It's harder for you to meet local girls, but if you do meet them, it's easier for you to date them. Whereas for me, it's easy to meet them, but if I want to date them, it's harder.
You've been here for 1 year, so you haven't got a Chinese girlfriend yet.
Yeah, I've dated since I got here.
You're currently single.
Single, yeah.
Okay, single, okay. Where do you live in Shanghai?
Putuo? It is a little bit far away, but I have a car, so...
Oh, yeah, you have a BMW.
EV, electric vehicle.
The car is yours, and the plate of the car...
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend helped me to get the plate and to purchase the car. Without residency, I couldn't get the license plate.
So it's lawful for her to get a car back?
She could take it, yeah, if she wanted to.
So the trip around south of China, you drove that car?
That car, yeah.
What's the most interesting thing during the trip happened to you?
Oh, there's a lot. I think what surprised me the most about the road trip was just how much every day is so interesting. Like just every single day, you don't know what's going to happen. I think it's what makes road trips really special. Okay. Just every city, I would just kind of roll in there and just not really know what to expect, you know, and then I just explore it for 5 or 6 days or until I feel like I've seen most of it, and then I would move to the next city. So it's why I think that style of road trip is very unique. I don't think many people have done a road trip like that.
And you're going to travel to the north part of China?
Yeah, I'm going to do a northern road trip similar to the southern one. So
you got a schedule yet?
Yeah, I've got a picture of where I'm going to go. Like I'm going to go to like Qingdao and Beijing. Not really far north.
Yeah.
Because I got an EV, like you have to like restrict a little bit on where you go. Like everybody in the comments for that post is telling me to go to Tibet and go to Xinjiang, and I'm like, I can't drive there in my car. It's too far away. You know, like if you're going to
get stuck.
Well, I think if you're going to do that kind of road trip, you just fly there and rent a car, like a rental car.
That's better. Yes.
I think a few places surprised me. Guangzhou, there's a lot of like young energy there, like a lot of young people there. The nightlife is really good, and it's very different to Shanghai. Like Shanghai is a lot more like classy and professional. People are more serious here.
Yeah.
Whereas Guangzhou, it's like everyone's relaxed, you know. People singing live music like everywhere, in the park, in the streets. Whereas in Shanghai, you almost never see that. It's very rare, you know.
And the food in Guangzou is very delicious. I think it's the most delicious food in China.
So? With how modern China is now, like you can get the same food basically everywhere.
What Chinese food do you like the most?
It's interesting. In Australia, like Chinese food is not Chinese food. Coming to China, a lot of the Western food is not good here. And Australians just eat food from everywhere else anyway. Like we eat Thai food, or we eat Italian food, or we eat burgers and stuff like that. So there's not really an Australian food.
But you still haven't answered my question. Which Chinese food do you like the most?
I don't know. Like I think just in general, just hot pot. As a foreigner, like I find the problem when I go to eat Chinese food is I don't know which one to choose.
So it's okay for you to eat spicy food?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All kinds of food?
Yeah.
So basically you are very happy about living in China?
I'm very happy living here,
Yeah.
You don't realize you live in a box until you leave the box.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of Australian and Western people, American people are like.
I have a question.
Sure.
What Australian media say about China?
It's actually pretty anti-Chinese, like in general.
Anti-Chinese,
like,
okay.
I stopped watching all the news. I would come to China. And I would see what China is. I would see the people are happy here, the people have money here, the girls are beautiful here, the development is amazing here. In the Western world, the news comes from like 2 places, press AP and routers. They contribute all the information into the news. And so when those two things are wrong, all of the news down the bottom is wrong. I think it's very corrupted by politics and that kind of stuff now. So
do you think you ever read any fake news here? We have some news about Americans, some news about Australia.
You know what's really surprising, and this is something I noticed when I first started coming here, is I think Chinese media and Chinese information is a lot more balanced, professional and respectful. They don't try to make such ridiculous claims about other countries. I think China sees the future more, whereas I think the West is a little bit upset that China is so successful. They can't control you. If you look at Japan and you look at South Korea, you look at a lot of the other countries in the world, they don't really have independence. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is just how incredibly safe China is.
Ah, yes, right. Yes.
It's mind-blowing, man.
I have an American friend. He asked me for a trip to America. Half joking, half serious. I'm afraid that if I go there, I might be shot. Should I take it serious?
Yes. I've been stabbed in my
Where?
hand.
In Australia?
In Australia, I got stabbed in
Why?
a park. I can't remember what it was like. They were just like, they give me your phone and this kind of stuff, and then we wrestled with each other and ended up getting stabbed in my hand. People don't realize, man, seriously, it's shocking how safe China is. You can walk around at 2 o'clock in the morning anywhere in Shanghai, Changsha, Wuhan, anywhere. I don't think China's safe because of the law. I think China's safe because it's a kind of cultural thing. I think a lot of the Western countries, violence is almost cool.
Okay. And sometimes they criticize us about the cameras on the street. What do you think about that?
The first 2 weeks that I was driving here, I thought maybe I lost my license every day because there's cameras everywhere and I wasn't sure if I'm driving right. And then after 2 weeks, I checked the app. There's no fines. There's no nothing. Surveillance is a little bit restrictive to your privacy, but I think in general, the system here is not very strict. I've got 3 fines total in the whole time I've driven here.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's ridiculous they are critiquing the cameras in public space. In public space, you are not expected to do some very privacy thing.
Yes.
It's just to
public security. In China, your phone basically does everything. First few weeks of doing it, it was a little bit weird, but then I just realized that it's better. It's just better.
In fact, people are trading their privacy for convenience.
People think that China has some system that like social credit system that watches everything you do and stuff. It's funny, they believe all this crazy stuff.
Someone who is afraid to be looked, there's something wrong with that guy. If I'm a normal guy, I won't be afraid that the camera is looking at me.
The claims that China's spying on everything or whatever, the US has been spying on everyone forever, man.
This is true? I don't know.
It was released with Edward Snowden, and they banned Huawei because they don't want competition. It's not because Huawei's spying or something. Same with TikTok. Their claim is that TikTok is spying. That's not true. So they're making up reasons to ban it because they can't compete with it. They don't like competition or fair competition. But the other thing too is that people claim in America that TikTok is promoting bad values.
But the values are promoted by locals.
Exactly. That's my point. China just made a platform, and then Americans make all the content on there. It's up to them what they want to make for it. So if you look at Douyin, you look at the version here of TikTok, it's much more family orientated because it's filled by Chinese culture. I think that just over time, Chinese companies and products are just becoming better and better and better. And that's another thing that I wanted to say. A lot of Western people, have this idea that made in China is low quality. What they don't understand is that China just makes what they're contracted to make.
According to the design.
The problem is an American will go and buy a fan from Walmart, and they'll take it home and it breaks. And then they're like, oh, it's made in China, made in China.
But it's designed by Americans.
It's an American company that contracted that fan to be made for $2. It's not China that makes bad products. You realize that when you come here, domestic market, the quality of the products here is very, very good. My BMW, for example, is amazing. It's made in Shenyang. It's made in North. I'm very picky. I have very high standards. I've owned a lot of cars before. That car's amazing. And the prices of EVs here is just incredible, man. It's because there's a government initiative to push them to give subsidies. I didn't have to pay for the license plate. I didn't have to pay sales tax. And using electricity is about 50% cheaper than using petrol.
You worry about the battery life?
A little bit, but so far it's not really a problem. If you do choose to buy an EV, you can't really sit around worrying about the battery all the time. It's just stupid. It's like when you buy a phone, you just use it.
It's just balanced. I think the quality of the product is decided by the cost and the design. Why people like producing products in China is because the labor here is cheaper?
I think part of what's made China so successful is China, I think the CPC originally set up really, really easy ways for companies in other countries to come to China and build their products. Because a lot of other countries have cheap labor too, but it's not so easy to go there and You know what I mean? Like India has that too, but China's economy is 5 times the size of India. And part of the reason is I think the government's just very good at understanding where the future is going, and they created these ways for companies to come here. I think the whole process is just a lot more... it's a lot more refined here.
Yeah.
Now that a lot of your own brands are becoming the top brands in the world.
Now I'm worried about DJI.
DJI, man.
I don't know if it's gonna be banned by America.
Well, it's probably I think it's the best consumer drone company by far.
Yeah, I like
the
this
best
company
drones.
much.
Yeah, me too. I got the Pocket 3. It's amazing.
Yeah. I got that one
Yeah,
too.
it's amazing. Right.
Oh, we talked a lot today. We could talk more.
Yeah, we could do it again in the future, man. Because I consume social media for a long time, man. Like I watch YouTube for hours a day. Now it's cool to be on the other side.
I think you could be very successful in the future.
I hope so. Yeah.
You are a foreigner in China.
Yeah, unique. Yeah, there's not many. Like as a foreigner making content, to some degree being a little bit easier to grow, there is also a harder element of it. People look at you a little bit more closely. Because I make content, a lot of content about love and about romance and things like that. So it's fun to get into back and forward debates with girls when I make these posts. Like, it's very popular, man. There's hundreds of comments.
So did you get upset or did you get...
No. Like, and that's the thing. No. I think like in general, being upset doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Focus on what's true, focus on reality, focus on
That's a very good quality for you to be a vlogger.
I like it. I've said this before, like I actually like the negative comments more than the positive comments. Because the negative comments, it's like, okay, what do they have to say? And I like to kind of get into a like rational discussion about it. I've had some of the best conversations I've had have been with people that disagree.
So how do you read these comments in Chinese?
Copy and paste into Translator.
Oh, okay.
And then reply in English.
English.
In English, yeah.
Yeah, they know the English.
Well, no, I guess they're doing the same thing.
Okay.
People are so shocked by this. They're like, how are you living in China? How are you driving? It's like, man, it's 2024. Like the life I'm living in China now, the road trip, all of this, I don't think you could have done it 50 years ago. I wouldn't be able to communicate with people. Just none of it would work.
No.
Older people around the world, they still see China like 1980 China. It's like a different world now, And so like for me, like I'm here and I'm looking around and I'm like, there's very interesting people everywhere. There's technology everywhere. Like people are living very good lives here. And then you talk to older generations and they just have this view of China that's not real.
So you have been to 24 cities. Yeah. But to be honest, you are staying in the most developed city in China.
I think Shanghai is the most refined city.
Yeah.
Shanghai is like the favorite child.
So you've been to some further cities in China,
I think
right?
even I think Fuzhou is like that. Like you can just tell like it's not such a favorite, maybe it's a forgotten child. Like it's
it's a forgotten province.
A forgotten one. But even like, for example, Hong Kong, like, Hong Kong has a very high reputation in the rest of the world. Hong Kong's not a very nice city.
It's much more crowded.
I spent a few days there and I explore a lot. The road quality is not very good there. The infrastructure is not very good. The city itself is not very clean and it's very expensive. Hong Kong is like living in Switzerland, but it feels like Thailand. You're paying Swiss prices like Switzerland, but you're living in Thailand. It feels very weird. I went to the Lamborghini dealership in Hong Kong and I joked to him, like, I would never buy this car in Hong Kong because of the roads. And he laughed. He was just like, and then you come back to Shanghai and you're just like, it's so smooth. All the infrastructure is very nice here. I think it's just very hard to get bored here. It's always got a memory for me. But I really like Guangzhou too. I really like Changsha. Changsha is really cool too. And it's got really good nightlife. Everybody's really friendly. There's a lot of young people there. Wuhan was fun. I'm just trying to think of all the different places. Guilin was a little bit, the city is not very interesting. I think the natural beauty is really cool. Hainan has just like the road quality is not very good. The infrastructure is not very good there. But it's a beautiful place. It feels very different to the rest of China. And I think it has the best beaches in Hainan too, in China.
When I got time, I should learn you to travel around China. You know more cities than me.
Chinese people go to Australia. I'm coming here. It's funny. I think if you want that kind of like blue sky and just really quiet life, really relaxed life, Australia is probably the best country in the world for that.
Okay.
But if you want action, you want opportunity, you want, social life, dating, entertainment, adventure, Australia is just not the place for that. It's China, man. China just has so many cities and they're all so different. People outside China think that China is just China, but you don't realize that all of the places are so different. All of the cities are different. Like even the way people look.
I'm happy that you enjoy your life in China.
Life is very good here.
Yeah.
Like I think more people are going to wake up. I think more people will be coming here in the future.
That's good.
I think China's one of the biggest secrets in the world. People know the Western world pretty well. Australia's kangaroos, blue skies, beach. That's basically it. Whereas China, people don't really know what it's like.
Yeah, even ourselves.
Like I said, I think most Chinese people need to explore China more.
Yeah. And I'm very happy that you like the life in China. Good luck with your North Road trip.
Thank you.
Hopefully we could talk next time.
Sure.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
OK 啊，以上呢就是今天视频的主要内容啊。今天跟 Kevin 同学聊了很多啊，他在中国的经历应该还有更多值得聊的，所以呢，后面我们可能还会再约一下，然后再聊一聊他在中国的一些有趣的经历啊。这里是哈铁馆，咱们下期视频再见 ，See you，Thank you。